Yes, you hear the jazz music in the background. We are back at Starbucks. Welcome back, Peter. Episode number 21.
Welcome.
Yeah, I'm sorry I sound like shit today, and that's because I've been nursing a bad cold.
Yeah.
So you'll probably hear me coughing. I'm going to try and edit those parts out.
But yeah, it has been shit weather, and
I
refer
hate
to
the
that.
rains.
Yeah, I hate it. I'm gonna talk much more about it later this episode.
Yeah. Otherwise, how have you been?
Good man, good to have you back in town.
Oh, yeah.
After
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
Like eventually, when we eventually get around to doing the episode that I recorded there.
Yeah.
That's weird, right? I spoke to an American band covering Australian bands in Singapore, but we'll do the recording in Bombay.
Yeah.
Global metal.
They
Sam Dunn hire us.
truly global metal, and I guess that summarizes us in a way also.
Yeah,
And
you're going to get a lot of that today. So, yeah, I'm sorry if you have a repulsion to hearing coughs, but deal with it because I am. All right. So, Peter, today we are doing Music on Our Mind.
Yep, we're doing it back again. We got a good response the last time.
Yeah?
Yeah. A lot of people checked out, and I guess this is a better way for people to check out our recommendations instead of every episode hitting one or two.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Plus, we have the playlist to go with it.
I wonder, did anyone react to my Billie Eilish pick? Because
Yeah.
now she's blown up, man.
One person did.
Yeah?
Oh yeah, dude. Billie Eilish actually is all over now, and I think she did exclusive deals with individual streaming platforms and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I actually was looking into the marketing of her and stuff. Yeah. I mean, for those who think the music industry is dead, if you didn't,
It's pretty active, right?
It's pretty active. It's live
Yeah.
and kicking.
Baby Metal just took a selfie with Billie Eilish, and Baby Metal are huge Billie Eilish fans.
Not surprised.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
They came out with a new single this last week called Papaya.
I didn't get too much for it.
It's Limp Bizkit and Linkin Park meets Baby Metal.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about Baby Metal.
If that's the new phase of Baby Metal, then I'm worried.
I think it's going to be a mixed bag. It's going to be like something for everyone, to be honest.
Yeah, it's going to be the poppy metal
it's
thing.
gonna be
And which is fine, it's great. They're excellent performers.
No issues.
Okay, so Music on Our Mind. This is where we chronicle 5 albums that are on our minds, because that's what Music on Our Minds is. And then after that, we'll just discuss them a bit and probably leave you with more reactions to stuff that's going to come out later this year, stuff that's already been out this year.
Singles that just came out.
Singles that just came out. Attractive singles.
Yeah.
Bad joke. Yeah. But yeah, that. So, Peter, why don't you start us off? What's
Right.
your first one?
So, to kick this off, which is music as black as the Americano in my cup.
Your Americano's brown, it's not black.
Right. Well, this could be brown if you want, but
Okay.
this is the black thrash act from Scotland of all places called a Hellripper. So their album, or the EP more like it, Black Arts and Alchemy. Now,
Okay.
one of the things that I really like about someone like Hellripper is that they're not going down the same way as, say, your Destroyer 666 or someone like that.
Okay, why is that?
This is a one-man act.
Oh, really?
Yeah, from Scotland of all places.
So, like Putrid Pile.
Yeah, you could call him the Putrid Pile of Scotland, or the Black Thrash Putrid Pile. But yeah, man, 4 songs, it just in your face. And it's got everything. I mean, I've been listening to a lot of Dark Throne, but yeah, dude, these guys, or this guy specifically, Hellripper, you should check it out. 4 tracks. I'm waiting for him to put out a full length, but he keeps doing EPs, and I'm not complaining.
I'm going to check this out. Definitely. The only question I have to you is, and this is extremely shitty of me or stupid of me to ask, do the vocals have a prominent Scottish accent?
He would if he was doing clean vocals, but he's doing like black.
Imagine Scottish black metal vocals.
And yeah, there's no bagpipes or any of that in there.
No bagpipes, no bagpipes, please. Just black metal vocals in a Scottish accent.
We should get him on the show. We find out how prominent his Scottish accent is.
Wow, I just took your first pick and reduced it to a joke. I'm so sorry for doing that.
That's cool.
All right.
What's your first pick,
My
Animesh?
first pick? Similar genre, black metal, yes, but a lot more mainstream. I want to talk about the new Abbath or
Oh, wow,
Abbath.
yeah.
If how do you pronounce it? For me, it's Abbath. It's
Yeah,
not
Abbath, yeah.
because I can take a bath. I can.
Abbath, yeah.
It's Abbath, right? Yeah. Abbath. It's called Ostrider. 9 songs, 39 minutes. Rock solid record. I want to read. I want to read the quote that's accompanied the album
Okay.
because it's to me it's the best copywriting I've seen in a long time. So
Alright.
please, if you may, let me
Sure.
read this out to you, and I'll try and do it justice. Abbath comment on the album. Starting quotes. Abbath, honed sharp by trial and error, proudly present Outsider, our latest catharsis wrung from the guts of darkness. Forged in fury furnace of adversity, hammered on an anvil of rage, this album is conjured from conflagration, cuffed from rift of chaos, rising like a phoenix from the pit to infect our spitegeist with shamanical reflections sheathed in metal compositions, hooked and rift by razor wire licks, impaling bass lines pulsed on drum beats dredged from thunderous abyss, by a hive mind wed to one whole emission, to boldly go where no band has gone before, and one step further.
Wow. Like, this guy should be definitely is like from an advertising agency. But yeah, man. Wow. I mean, after reading that, if you're not intrigued, or after hearing that, you're not intrigued to listen to the album, I don't know what will.
You've heard it as well,
Yeah,
right?
and we traded links.
Yeah.
The thing, I didn't spend that much time with it, but I think maybe this is what we should do a look at doing in another episode, is considering Immortal released an album
Yeah,
recently.
they did, yeah.
Is just looking at it. And for me, at least my initial impressions from the singles I heard, or the initial few songs I heard from the Abbath album, this is more like it's taken on Abbath's personality.
Oh, definitely.
Which is
yeah.
not too serious kind of thing. And
Oh,
anyone who's-
holy shit. It's not serious at all.
Yeah. I mean, if you
I
think
mean,
about it,
yeah.
if you see the whole persona that Immortal had, that whole forest of
Correct.
Balsh,
Yeah.
I don't know how to say
It's
it.
clearly Abbath. Abbath
Yeah.
knows how to have fun too.
Yeah.
And that's exemplified by these weird little, on the album you'll find a lot of spots where it's just the guitar doing a funny solo or a funny tune in the middle of it. Like at the opening of one of the songs, I kid you not, the guitar goes na 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 na. And I was like, what was that? But yeah, that happens.
Yeah.
It's
It's a fun album. I mean,
a really good album. It's rock solid. It's not black metal. I don't think it's black metal. I would consider it more of black and roll.
yeah.
Yeah, it's not like out and out black metal. It sounds lovely. Like if all black metal was to be produced like this, everybody would understand the
I think-
nuances of the musical craft that goes into making good black metal a lot better. Sure, like black metal, you have your lo-fi
Yeah.
production and all of that, and that adds to the appeal of it. But if it was this crisp and this lush in recording, everybody would understand that, hey, it's more than just good tremolo picking.
Yeah.
There's a lot of nuance needed to play this kind of music. Overall, I think that it's very anthemic.
Yeah.
You've got a lot of mainstream appeal to this, which is great. I have to mention, though, I have to talk about the new vocal hit that Abbath does.
Okay.
Okay, that's a high point on the album for me. It's on the second song, I think, of the album, which is called Bridge of Spasms. He goes, do you remember that? No.
I remember
Yeah,
it
and he
from-
goes like this, and like this is a new thing. I haven't heard it before, but it's almost on each and every song. There's a reference to this kind of a vocal hit on each and every song, which just makes it memorable for some reason.
Yeah, I think it over a period of time it kind of grows into
Oh,
you.
definitely. The first time I'm hearing it, I'm going like, "What the shit is this?" And then by the fourth time he's done it, and I'm like, "Holy shit, this is cool, man!"
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
clearly having fun.
No,
So yeah, Abbath's Ostrider, go and check it out. One of the more solid releases this year. Not his best work
Yeah.
by a long shot. No, not by a long shot. Not his best work, of course, but a solid sophomore release.
Okay.
What's next?
Next up, from all the way in Europe, we moved to Canada, and a place which is actually a part of Canada which is not really known for metal, but Calgary. One thing I've been noticing about in the last, I would say, 10 odd years is just
Mhm.
this whole revival of the old school heavy metal bands and stuff
yeah,
like that,
yeah.
which I mean I really enjoy, especially when it's done well and not too derivative,
Yeah.
if possible. So yeah, these are actually a bunch of young guys. They're called Riot City, and their album is Burn the Night. Very raw kind of production, but one of the things I really enjoyed about the album is each song you got your head nodding around. You know there's familiarity, but you're still wondering like what new they're bringing to the table or what's next, and they keep you guessing. So
Okay.
yeah, Riot City, fun album. It's not something you want to be listening to. I mean, you can listen to this while doing other stuff around the house and things
So
like
it's
that.
a good driving album, I'm
Yeah,
guessing.
oh yeah, this is great. I mean, for like people who love drives or like going on the bike and stuff like that. Long.
I'm gonna
drives.
check this one out.
Yeah, Riot City, Burn the Night. Good listen. Again, I'm glad there's music like this coming from other parts of the world, because I'm still tired of and one of the things that really got me was like Calgary, Canada. These guys are from really, but if you listen to it, you'd never really think they're anywhere else other than say like the UK or Europe and stuff like that.
I just quickly added them on Apple Music. I love the album artwork, man.
Yeah, dude,
it's so
it's-
priest.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, and even the logo and everything,
Yeah,
it's out and out 80s heavy metal,
and
traditional
I'm pretty sure
heavy
most
metal.
of these guys would have probably not even been born during the 80s. So for them, like making this music and stuff like that is just showing how great that era was for metal.
Okay, from one part of Canada to another part of Canada, let me hook you up with Big Brave.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, you heard about this?
I've heard of them.
Canadian experimental doom drone metal.
Yeah.
5 songs, 39 minutes. To describe them in in 3 words would be point of departure for me. I urge you to look it up, and I urge you to just check out that album cover, because that album cover is so pretty.
This is quite interesting.
Doesn't it look like something you could totally get lost in while admiring it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's exactly how I would describe the album itself. It's the most undoomy, undrony doom metal or drone metal that I've heard in a long time. It's very poetic. It involves a lot of repetition. It rewards listening to it. But it's not, I wouldn't say it's excellent songwriting, but it's something that you can just lose yourself in. It features Robin Watty on vocals, whose vocal style is almost siren-like. So it'll remind you of, like, say, the Cranberries or Royal Blood, right?
Yeah, I
Remember
remember
that
this.
band?
Yeah,
I wonder
yeah.
what happened to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had some fabulous songs. But here's what I like, which I didn't enjoy with the other acts like this, and especially when you have female vocals. She doesn't scream for attention, It gels very well in with the music, but it's very well balanced. It's not as if she is overlaid on top or something of that sort, and it doesn't seem like she's the star of the band. It seems like the whole band is the star of the band when they come together.
Yeah, so
And
a
I
more
would-
cohesive sound, basically.
Yeah, it's a very cohesive, tight, nice sound, and it's something that I really hope doesn't change for them in the future, because what tends to happen with female-fronted bands is automatically the singer gets a lot of attention, and so it screws up a lot of dynamics
Yeah.
and stuff. I hope it doesn't happen to these guys, because they've got something really, really, really sexy going on. And I apologize for using the word sexy there, but that's the only way for me to describe it. I don't mean it in a sexual way. I just mean it in a, oh my god, that's so cool
Yeah.
kind of a manner.
Cool.
So yeah, it's called Big Brave. The album's name is A Gaze Among Them. Would I listen to it on a long drive? Not at all. But I think I found the best use for it, which is to put it on while I'm working, because it's helping me concentrate better.
Yeah. My next pick is actually the album which I'm pretty sure is going to be in my top 10 list at the end of the year.
Okay.
And primarily because each time I listen to it, and I've listened to it a lot over the last couple of months, I cannot get enough of it. The band is Spirit Adrift, and their album is called Divided by Darkness. Now, it takes two of the most common cliches in metal of recent times, which is a mix of doom and heavy metal.
Yeah.
But it does it in a complete different way.
Okay.
I mean, one thing I must say, and this has become a regular trend, anyone who's been following me on social media or like my picks, anything that the label 20 Buck Spin releases.
Yeah, you seem to be in love with them.
Yeah, dude. I wish they had like a subscription or something, and just like anything they release, I need to have it. So one cool thing is they've got this cool artwork going for it, which if, you know, when we use metal or not, if it was in a store, I'd definitely go pick it up and try to figure what the hell is going on with this. But they have two tracks which really stand out on the album for me. One is Born in Fire.
Okay.
And the other is Angel in Abyss.
Okay.
Now, both of these songs, even though I had no idea what the guy was singing, but by the time he hits the chorus, it's one of those things you just want to get along. Like, you know, it just gets your spirits up. But yeah, so while it has like the anthemic kind of parts, it also has those doomy kind of reflective parts in there.
So what kind of doom is this? Is this like Candlemas, Black Sabbath-y?
Yeah, I would put it in
so
that.
it's more traditional.
Yeah. And that's
heavy
the thing.
metal
Like, while
doom.
it is familiar, you're just amazed as how there's a complete new take in there. Because this is slightly like more up tempo compared to like say Candlemas in a way. But yeah, man, and like again, when you go into the album, and that's one of the things, like they've blown up. Like Spirit Adrift in the last few years, this album is really broken out. For them. They're all over the place. Yeah, man, very interesting story background. For
What
those
is
of
it?
you. So basically, the
Do you want to get them on the podcast? I think you're a fan.
Yeah, dude, I'd love to. And
Let's do that.
Yeah. Spirit Adrift, we're gonna reach out.
Reach out to you.
Yeah, the story is better told by the guy who started the band, Nate Garrett. I mean, just reading his whole story and his whole journey, because he started the band, he was doing everything, and now in the last few years that they've broken out, he's kind of formed it as a band. So it started out as a solo project. But yeah, I'm going to definitely reach out to their PR and try reaching out to Nate himself.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So, yeah, my early pick for album of the year, Spirit Adrift.
Album of the year. It
top
went
10,
from
top
in your
10,
top 10 to
so
album of the year. Is
that's
that
it.
good?
Like, there's still a few albums to go this year, so
Yeah.
I'm saying early contenders yet.
Okay, cool. All right, so from one of your top 10s, I'll go to one of my top 10s. And this is something I've been wanting to talk about on the podcast for such a long time, but we've just not been able to.
All right.
From Nama Bengaluru, Kryptos.
I knew this would come.
Kryptos with Afterburner. Oh my god, I love this one. I just fell in love with it. I remember the first time the first song that I heard from it was the one that you linked me to, and that was just after our chat with Nolan on the podcast. For those of you who don't or who've missed that episode, we discussed which album is better, Power Slave or Seventh Son and a Seventh Son. And I don't remember which episode number that was, but you can easily
15,
find it
yeah,
in
that
the
was 15,
archives.
I think.
Okay, episode 15. But the highlight for me after that entire conversation was listening to, I think it was Red Dawn.
Yeah, Red Dawn. Yeah.
Which is to me my favorite song of this album. I love how I love the mid-tempo kind of a feel that the entire album has. It's perfectly paced. It's so old school. It brings back memories of listening to early Priest and early Maiden and the entire NWO BHM sound. I think I missed that kind of solid songwriting. And yes, naysayers will say that that a lot of the riffs sound like old Kryptos songs, or they hark back and pay tribute to a lot of old stuff.
But actually, for me,
It kind of works, man. It just
Yeah, I'm
solidifies
glad.
Kryptos' sound.
like
And I think it's the
remember-
best product from the band. Clearly, the production is top notch. I think they sound the best this time around. It's better than the previous album in terms of just production wise. I just love it. I'm so glad I'm finally getting a chance to talk about it now, because this is something that I've been talking to you and talking your ears off for a really long time.
Yeah. No, and I'm glad you brought up the part of the naysayers. I remember when Burn Up the Night came out a few years back.
What a
while
great video that was.
Yeah, like while I enjoyed the music on there, what I really enjoyed even more was the production and the kind of way they were going.
Yeah.
And I remember speaking to their bassist Jack and telling him that, man, you guys need to get that first album sound. What is their first album?
Coils of Apillia?
No. Even before that. That's
Spiral Ascent?
Spiral Ascent.
Spiral Ascent.
I was like,
yeah.
you guys need to get the material on Spiral Ascent with the recent production.
Yeah, man.
And that's exactly what they've done on Afterburner. I mean, like, the title track is the album, the track of the album for me.
Oh, yeah?
And it kicks off the album, so you're like, whoa. And I don't know, it's strange because, like, I've noticed this thing with bands, is like the singles they put out, I may not enjoy so much, and then I'll listen to the album and I'm like, wait, you guys were holding out.
I kind of actually agree with you. I think Afterburner would be a better first single than Red Dawn.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, Afterburner is also more stereotypical.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so painkiller in terms of just the lyrics, the
Even
concept,
the video
etc.
they kind of did.
Yeah, right?
You'd see that. Could see that in the video. Like, another track I'd like to talk about of the album is, which is a little strange compared to a lot of what Kryptos has put out, is On the Run.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
it's
I
something
get where you're
like
coming from on
when you're
that.
listening to it and it comes like midway through the album also. So you're just like kind of, especially the start part, you're just like,
Yes.
okay, where are they going with
where
this?
they're going with this, yeah.
And then you're like, all right, okay, I'm kind of enjoying this. And by the second or third listen, you're like, okay, yeah, I'm singing along to it. And that's one of the things I'm glad Kryptos, even though they've been around for 20 years, they've kind of come into their own if you think about it.
They've finally hit upon something that they know is their sound and that defines who Kryptos are.
Yeah.
And it's lovely to hear a band from Bangalore in India to be able to do that, and to be able to do that so well.
Yeah.
They should be one of the defining bands from the Indian heavy metal scene.
True,
They are in a way, but
Yeah.
I think they should be bigger than what they are at the moment.
So,
They deserve that.
so
Okay, cool.
But
So
yeah.
that was Kryptos with Afterburner, one of my top 10s of
Right.
the year so far. I think it's a very safe to say that it'll be in the top 10 definitely.
all right.
Yeah.
Coming now to a pick that I actually referred to in the start of the episode. So I'm going to preface this a bit. Like I mentioned in the start of the episode, I absolutely hate the rains. The monsoon is probably one of the worst times of the year for me, just because of everything else. And it's not just getting wet in the stuff like that. Like, travel to work, if you live in Mumbai or Bombay, as I like to call it, is a nightmare.
Yeah, man, it is.
Traveling by public transport.
Or even by private transport
Yeah,
for that matter, man.
It's crazy. Last week, when it was raining that heavily. I was actually like rained in, and I spent the entire day in just because it was raining so much.
Yeah, it's crazy how torrential downpour can immediately just get your spidey sense tingling and make a helter-skelter for Twitter and stuff, and just try and get yourself to check all these things just to see if you can go out of the house or not.
Yeah. So one of the things that happened when I was stuck at home was, and I was feeling really shitty also, is I kind of went into this album which is called Deep Dark River.
Okay.
And the album is King of the Forest. Again, another Canadian act. But here's the thing about it. Unlike my other picks, this is not your typical metal. This is an acoustic act.
Okay.
But is doom metal as anything. I mean, one of the tracks on the album is called Doom Will Come to Pass.
All right.
This is really dark stuff. And the thing about it is it hooks you in very easily because it's all acoustic.
Mm-hmm.
But the moment you keep listening on and on to it, it's just really, really dark. And I remember like I had a chat with the guy who started the project, Morgan Ryder, on Twitter. And I was talking about their earlier release, which he did, self-titled last year. And he said, yeah, but this album is even darker than that. And truly it is, man. It hooks you in. And then I feel for me, what happened with this, it was not just the music itself, but just everything else that was around me. And I kept going back listening to it.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, in the last week or 10 days, I've been spinning this a lot.
Okay. So it's perfect for the gloomy
perfect
monsoon.
for the gloomy monsoon weather.
All right.
So yeah, that was Deep Dark River, King of the Forest. Check it out for those inclined.
All right. I'll move to a black metal album now. The artist is called Falls. The album's name is Portent.
Yeah, a lot of buzz about this album.
Yeah, it's 4 songs, 41 minutes. I'm defining it as therapeutic black metal. It's released by Gilead Media, Minnesota-based black metal band, and black metal over there is in quotes because it's not traditional black metal as such. I mean, you do hear a lot of the second wave of Norwegian black metal in it, but it's kind of like that is the core ingredient, and there's a lot of addition of everything from, say, shoegaze to doom to modern heavy metal, even thrash elements actually. And that's because there's a lot of melody to be heard, excellently paced, very well written songs, beautiful, lovely, tasty solos which you don't expect on a black metal album as such. Keyboards are present, and for the first, not for the first time, but for in a long time, or after a long time, finally keyboards are present and they don't distract you from the music.
Yeah, I remember there was that entire phase of keyboards in black metal. Yeah,
so everything just fits really well in. I must mention the bass. It's not buried in the mix, but neither is it super prominent. It's like the third bowl Goldilocks eats, which is just right.
Wow.
My favorite song of this is the 16-minute song which they have. It's called The Serpent Sting, The Smell of Goat. It's an epic. Not 1 second is wasted. It simply washes over you. Now, why is this entire record therapeutic? Because like good black metal, and this is what is good black metal for me, it's hypnotic, it's meditative, it has that quality to it. I can leave it on in the background and it just soothes me while I'm doing other stuff. But if I pay attention to it, it confronts me, it challenges me, because it forces me to just marvel at the effort that's put in to make all of it sound so effortless and sound so simple, right?
Okay.
It's the band's sophomore effort. I haven't heard the first one, but this album will definitely make me or has made me put Falls on the map. I'm going to check out their previous album, their first album, and I think this, to me at the moment, is by far the best black metal record I've heard in 2019
Wow,
so
that's-
far.
Yeah. No, and
So
there's
far.
something to be said about like the black metal that's coming out of the US at the moment.
Yeah.
It's completely like while there is still a nod, like you said, about to the second wave of black
Yeah,
metal.
it's not as if they're fearing from
Yeah.
defining or fearing the constraints of that black metal, traditional black metal sound.
And
They're
pushing the
open to
envelope
pushing
really
it.
with this.
Yeah,
They're taking the sound way forward.
yeah.
I mean, think about it. On the same episode, we're discussing Abbath, who's like one of the most
Yeah, but
influential figures,
exactly. Yeah,
and also discussing False. So both kind of
and both of them are my picks.
yeah, and both are still relevant.
And
Think
both
about
are still relevant, and both are doing excellent stuff.
it. Yeah.
Why not? Yeah, so that was Falls. The album is called Portent. Check them out.
Okay. My last pick, and I'm sure you're gonna have a big smile on your face when I say the name, is Pacifist Greyscale Dreams.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
man,
No, I completely like. I had it as one of my. It's not in my top 5 like at the moment, but I definitely had it in my long list of albums that I wanted to talk to you about, or EPs I wanted to talk to you about.
Yeah, and you know, one of the things that really strikes me about this, I know there was a lot of like hype prior to the release and stuff like that. They did the singles and things. One thing that really struck me, and this primarily, I guess, touched a nerve with me because I grew up in Bombay and stuff like that, is just how raw. And if you like, one thing I really appreciate also with the band is that unlike most artists that put out downloads and stuff like that, these guys have the lyrics. So they had a package where you could actually read the lyrics, and it's a complete package, not just the lyrics. You've got the imagery that goes along with it, which a lot of effort has been put into. Complete whole thing, when you look into, it's just so raw and visceral, and this is exactly what music that can be made only in Bombay. I don't think there could be any other band. I mean, if these guys were in another city, they would be making similar music, but like the lyrical content is very Bombay-ish. Like people who grew up in Bombay can kind of relate to it far more, or who've lived in Bombay, or possibly, like, if I could put it at a stretch, who lived in like a crowded metro city, a bustling metro city, would understand this. And yeah, man, I mean, it's also complemented that their live act is also great. So you kind of feel it. It's in your face. Like you cannot kind of escape it. If you're in a show or you're listening to it, this grabs you by the neck, literally. If you're listening to it on your headphones, if you're at their show, it's in your face. Like their vocalist Siddharth is literally like in your face, screaming out the lyrics.
Yeah.
And it's angry. I mean, this is angsty, angry music. Kind of made me feel like, imagine my 16-year-old self listening to this music. I would have been like, oh my God, what is going on? Like,
Yeah.
this guy is talking exactly what I'm feeling like, or this guy knows exactly what I'm doing. And it's one of the things we talked about, you know, in our initial episode about what really makes you fall, what made me fall in love with metal, what really got you. And after a really long time, I've seen a band like this kind of doing it. I mean, I know I'm going to embarrass you a bit when I say this, but 8 years ago, I heard a similar band that talked about stuff which was very Bombay related. You may know
Microphone
of the-
3.
No, it's the Riot Peddlers. And I'm glad like there's still a band putting out I mean, of course, a lot of bands, Death by Fungi, Pacifist, give credit to you guys, the Riot Peddlers, for doing stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah, man, I feel there should be more music like this which talk about real issues.
I think finally, after a long time,
Yeah.
Bombay has kind of a sound going for it now.
Yeah.
In the metal rock space, which is this weird Bombay hardcore thing that's suddenly springing up as a almost akin to the Seattle grunge thing when you go
Yeah.
to define
I
a
know.
city's sound.
Yeah.
And
I know a lot has been talked about.
it's not obviously it's not something that's being like, that's a spearheaded movement or something of that sort.
Yeah.
I think it's just the city and what the city makes you do.
Yeah.
DBF, Death by Fungi, have a new EP which is going to be coming out pretty soon. The Riot Peddlers are working on something that's going to be released pretty soon. The Pacifist, this album, very good album. I dare say I thought the live act was much better than the album in terms of just an experience, because the live sound is so fucking amazing, man, and their performance was off the charts for me. The album doesn't quite live up to that kind of an energy, but that's not to say that the album isn't good. Please don't get me wrong on that. It's a brilliant EP. I just wish it was a bit more rawer, because the entire sound itself lends itself to that feeling of just visceral aggressiveness, which is very tough to capture after you've seen something live, because there's so much you can experience live, and then on an EP or when you're just listening to it on headphones or through a player, you're just only listening to audio, right? You're not experiencing everything else. You're not experiencing the grime, the sweat, all of that, and all of that actually matters here. So I wish it was a bit dirtier, the overall production, but one of the better releases or to come out of Bombay this year.
Yeah, man, and I'm glad, like, a lot has been talked about Gully Boy and, the Bombay hip-hop scene and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But if you think about it, listen, I mean, I'm going a little ahead of myself, but I just heard the Death by Fungi EP yesterday.
I haven't yet heard it.
Man, I know it's a little too much.
Tabby's gone Hindi in that.
Yeah, there's Hindi in there, which I'm really glad they're doing. But the Pacifist and Death by Fungi releases are like a 1-2 punch.
Yeah.
Because this is like really raw, and now I'm very excited to see what the Riot Peddlers are gonna put out also. Because all of a sudden this is just something that
will hopefully snowball into something bigger.
Yeah, and I'm like, this is gonna be a movement, or this is gonna be releases that is gonna be very hard to ignore, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think we should end our Bombay hardcore part here. But that was my fifth pick. A little longer chat than normal, but yeah, that was Pacifist, Greyscale Dreams. Check it out.
Yeah, it's everywhere. If you haven't checked it out already, please do so.
Yeah.
Awesome songs. Okay, my last pick is something that I heard last night, and I've already spun it thrice since then.
Okay.
I was waiting for this for a long time. 11 songs, 36 minutes. The band is Torche, and it's their new album, which is Admission. If I had to sum it up, I would say it's the album that Baroness should have done.
Okay.
I had another album like in my top 5 or whatever, like in this list of 5. But I got a happy reminder from Apple Music that Admission from Torche is now available to listen to. And I did that. I've been a fan of Torche for quite some time. I loved Harmonicraft. I didn't enjoy the previous album all that much, but I think Admission is another excellent album that I'll be revisiting quite a lot. It fits in perfectly as the next step of Torche's sound. I mean, there's really no huge change or something of that. It's still very Torche, but it's more of that intricately woven, almost ethereal, sludgy thickness that Torche manages to do. It sounds very polished. That's what I love about it. It seems like a lot of time has been spent in the studio just trying to perfect the tones. It's a very rich listening experience. I've yet to experience it on really good headphones, but I think it'll sound really lush. Lush is that word, yeah. My favorite track of it is Admission, which is the title track. It's what happens when Torche decides to go a little bit drony and shoegazy.
Okay.
It keeps building up, and then there's no like actual crashing down kind of a part, but then it just leaves you feeling very it's got massive feel good vibes.
Okay. Yeah.
It's very cool. It's chilled out stoner metal. It's fuzzy. It's warm. I think it's like my teddy bear. It's very comforting. This is the album that Baroness should have put out instead of Grey and Gold. Like if Grey and Gold was this instead of the overhyped monster that it became, I would have like Baroness would have been completely redeemed, which is weird, right? Baroness, here's a message for you if you're listening. You've chosen Torche to be part of your touring lineup this year. Just listen to them and get inspired, maybe. Yeah.
So yeah, this album's actually on my list to listen to this weekend. So I'm gonna check it out and
it's beautiful. Did you so because I mentioned it, did you enjoy Grey and Gold?
I did, but the only problem I had with it was the production, and we talked about it. It just, especially the first few songs, I don't know why they went with that production call. It's just very hard to listen. I mean, and that's unfortunately been one of the problems I've had lately, is that as good as the songs are, but if it's not produced well, and this is like a really like harsh production.
I think more than the production, what irked me was the fact that it decided to do another really long album where so many songs are just filler.
Yeah, I couldn't go through it, unfortunately. I tried.
I mean, come on, you've already tried this with Yellow and Green. Just prune it down, man. Not everything needs to maximize your 70 or 80 odd minutes on a CD, no? Make it a nice, tight album. Like you did it with Red, you did it with Blue. You even did it with Purple. Purple was a really good record. It was so tight. It was nice, compact, crisp. But then, no, there has to be Grey and Gold. I don't know. I'm just ranting about this because it got so much of hype. And trust me when I say this, I've told this to you earlier as well, but Grey and Gold will be Baroness's Black album. By that I mean it'll be the one that catapults them to mainstream success. And I think they're on their way there already.
Yeah.
They'll definitely be selling out bigger venues now. They'll definitely be getting a lot of bigger appeal. They may just become one of the best, one of the next big.
Metallica.
No. Definitely not Metallica level, but at least on a level of say a Mastodon or something, which is like everybody kind of knows who Mastodon are, and it's like a gateway band. So I think Baroness are on their way to doing that with this album, but it's just too bloated for me, man. I
don't know. I couldn't make it through the album. That says something.
I've heard it twice. I tried to listen to it more times, but no, I just can't. Okay. So yeah, Baroness, you should be listening to Torche.
Okay. I'm going to sneak this in only because this single came out yesterday and I'm very curious if you've heard it.
Which one is it?
It was one of the albums we discussed at the start of the year we're looking forward to.
Lordi? No, we didn't discuss Lordi.
Opeth.
Opeth have a new single out?
Yeah.
Damn, I didn't know that.
Now, here's the cool thing, what if you're not in the know of what Opeth are doing this year, is Opeth are releasing an album, but they're releasing two versions of it. A Swedish version and an English version.
Okay.
So, I'm not going to even attempt to say the Swedish name for the single they've put out, but the English one is Heart in Hand.
Alright.
And here's the thing. Now, I heard the English version. Pretty cool. And then I think I heard it on one of Spotify or Apple Music. I was like, okay, these guys, I know where they're going for and things like that. But then I heard the Swedish version and the English version back to back because they put it out on YouTube. And I don't know, man, the Swedish version sounds so much better. Like, I actually enjoyed that. And I went back and I heard it 3-4 more times.
Is the music changing or is
just
it only
the lyrics?
The lyrics?
Just the lyrics.
Wow, that's so...
And I don't know, like, I'm hoping that if not exceeds, but at least maintains that level, because I have a very niggling feeling that I might enjoy the Swedish version of the album far more than the English. And again, coming from a band like Opeth, I'm very surprised, but hey, come on, it's been so many years, and that's quite.
Is it metal now?
So there are some heavy parts. It's heavier than their last release. I I don't think they're going to be dialing down the Pink Floyd or the psychedelia parts there. That's part of their sound now. But like the few heavy parts had me smiling. Like, okay, I don't know what they're kind of doing. And then the last minute is just like this. It goes back to Damnation, if I may. So I'm just like, okay. So the song is, I think, about 8 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 8 minutes. So there are bits and pieces of everything. Like, it's more like, okay, I've heard Opeth do this, I've heard Opeth do this. But I've never heard Opeth sing in Swedish, man. And I don't know, that's the whole part that intrigues me. So once the album's out, I can't remember when's it out exactly, but I'm going to be checking out the Swedish part first before the English version of it.
Okay. So any other things that really piqued your interest? I'll run you through the list of other stuff that really got my attention. I had Pacifists, Greyscale, Dreams, the Dark Throne album, Old Star. You've heard it? Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude.
Nice, solid release. But
for me, it's all about those riffs, man. And one of the things I really enjoy about
it's a very fun album.
Yeah, they don't give a damn about.
Yeah,
what
they
you
don't give a damn about what anyone thinks, and I really like that.
And
I really
they leave like
that.
all the mistakes and everything in there.
Everything
just
in it.
Enjoy, like you're sitting in the rehearsal space with them.
Thank You Scientist. I don't know if you've heard this one before. So Thank You Scientist is this weird proggy fusion. It's not metal per se, but weird proggy fusion, jazz, instrumental, vocals, everything just coming in together. Beautiful, beautiful album. This Gift is a Curse. Nice black metal. Transcending Obscurity had this lovely album. Throne Koludra.
Oh yeah, the black metal.
The black metal album,
the German
right?
Black metal
yeah,
album.
that was really good. Obviously, it got my attention because Temple Koludra, 7 Sirens. It got my attention because it looks so Indian and it has Indian song titles and stuff. So I thought maybe this is another Cult of Fire. But no, nice, good death metal, black metal release. Again, very therapeutic in that space. Check out Voyager or Voyage 3
Okay.
This album is called War Mask. Okay, the artist name is Voyager. Totally instrumental. It's what happens when you do a synthwave album, but only with real instruments.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's so fucking good, man. I heard it again in the last week.
Okay.
It's brilliant. It should have been in my top 5. Yeah, I'm going to sneak this one in.
Okay.
It's so fun to listen to. It's got 10 songs. It's 51 minutes long. The last track is a remix of one of the earlier tracks, so it's actually 9 tracks. Wow, it put a smile on my face, and it's perfect workout music. It's perfect activity music, so you can put it on and do other things, and it'll still manage to distract you from time and time.
Added it to my library.
Yeah. So
right, man.
There's that. There's a new album coming out from Astrosaur, which has me excited. It's prog rock, art rock in that space. So I'm looking out for that. I think there's a new Red Fang coming out this year.
Yeah. That video was pretty neat.
That video was so fucking cool, man. Is the best thing that Biden and Kennedy have ever done in their lives. There's a new Russian Circles coming out this year.
Oh yeah, it's out.
So far, no, it's not out. I mean, it's not yet out, at least on Apple Music. But two singles have been released from it. That's worthy of attention. Did you hear Dave Ellefson's solo project?
No, I haven't.
Don't listen to it. It's very crap.
Okay.
I mean, I really didn't enjoy it at all. And I mean, so far there've only been like 3 singles that have come out from it. I mean, Newstead was such a fucking good album.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, Dave Ellefson, not in the same vein.
Do I see a immortal bird in your playlist?
Yeah, I did. I heard Thrive on Neglect.
What do you think of that?
It's not a bad release, but nothing really captivating.
There's a lot going on in that album.
Yeah, there's a lot going on on that. Yeah, but again, okay. I mean, nothing really grabbed out at me and said, "Oh my God, listen to me again."
Okay.
So yeah, that I'm gonna check out the new Overkill. I haven't yet done that. I like the new Candlemas. I thought it was a good thing.
I need to check that out.
Yeah, you can check it out. Crypt Sermon. Fuck. That single, so good.
Yeah, I've got the promo for that.
Key of Solomon. You have the promo, share it with me.
Okay, I need to check it out and see the rest of it. But yeah, so far the single is like the song.
It's really good, right?
Yeah. And compared to the, like, I know we discussed this on our albums to look forward to you in the year. One of the main things is just how good the production is this time around. Like, it's a huge
it is.
bump
It's a huge pump up.
So
yeah.
I'm hoping they heard, or somebody heard our grievance in talking about the cassette-like production.
I doubt it, but I'm sure it's it was a point that a lot of their fans made.
Yeah. Probably.
So yeah. So Kryptos have a new album coming out. It's called The Ruins of Fading Light. That'll be out sometime, I'm guessing, in a couple of months or so. The first single's out. It's called Key of Solomon. Check that one out. It's really good. Really good doom in the vein of more melodic and more folky than regular doom. But I think it's the time of year where I'm going to be listening to a lot of warm music.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. So, and by that, like, there's going to be a lot of doom, stoner, warm black metal, if that's a thing. So maybe not a lot of Norwegian stuff, but hey, I had Abbath on my list.
Yeah.
Yeah. So any other acts that you want to talk about?
Oh man, I
No,
think
I think you're good.
Yeah, I think we're good for now.
All right. So that was music on our mind. We talked about a lot. I think we clocked in quite a... This was a longish talk because we haven't done this in quite some time.
Yeah.
Which reminds us, we should do this more often. And that's what we said the last time as well.
At least every couple of months.
Yeah, at least every month, or maybe maybe once every couple of months. It's a nice way to just exchange notes.
Yeah, and discover new music.
Discover new music, of course.
And I hope you guys are, whoever's listening in.
Yeah, I hope you guys find some new acts. If there's some acts that you want us to check out, please do let us know. You can reach out to us on Twitter. We are at HonsubPod. Yeah.
Trend Crusher.
I'm at Asmo Annie. Till the next time, horns up.
Horns up, guys.